guys, welcome to Let's Talk. I'm Claire Felician, and today I'm here with Vanya Smith and Bertina Williams. So today we're going to be discussing anxiety. So many people in the world face anxiety. So there's like this study by the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and they surveyed more than 4,000 people, and they found that over 1/3 of those people had a close friend or family member who had anxiety. So, do you guys have you guys ever experienced anxiety, and how do you guys cope with it?
Personally, I didn't realize what I was going through was anxiety at that point, but I realized mostly when I started university that I was experiencing anxiety or whatever like that. And I guess like what I used to do was I would avoid it. But at that time, right, I didn't know that it was anxiety, so I didn't really know how to cope with it, what to do or whatever like that. But I guess now that I saw some stuff and some other stuff that other people are going through as well, I saw that it was an anxiety. And I guess now I kind of, set apart, especially this year, especially in last year, I set myself apart from the stressors of this world. I said nothing is going to stress me out anymore.
Yes, girl.
So I adopted this chill persona. I'm not letting this bother me, this one. And severely that has helped with my anxiety personally, just not stressing as much about stuff. Because I'm listen up here, my mental health is important. I'm not having this stress me out at all. So yeah, that's my kind of adaptive thing. And also I can't forget God. You know, I've definitely connected deeper with him, and I've seen that he has helped me as well. So yeah, that's what I do.
Well, I guess for me, it was kind of the same thing. I didn't realize that I experienced anxiety. I kind of always have been you guys know, I'm the worrier or the overthinker. It's my personality trait. Everybody knows me to overstress and overthink, and I kind of just thought that that's just everybody does it. And so I've always experienced it ever since I was young. And recently it has gotten to the point where it's gotten a lot worse, where I get so in my head that I convince myself that bad things are happening, or I'm sitting staring at my phone waiting for somebody to call me with some terrible news that it freezes me, I can't continue on with my day or whatever. And so it wasn't until 2018 when I had my first panic attack, full-blown panic attack, that I realized that wait, this is not normal. People don't freak out and have a panic attack over things that aren't even happening, made up things in their head. And so that's when I kind of realized it. What I do to cope, well, I don't. I really don't handle my anxiety well at all. I just try to distract myself as much as possible. I'll try to just not focus on what's stressing me out. But yeah, I don't think I cope at all.
Yeah, same with me. University was when I knew the definition of anxiety. Hello, that's anxiety. You knew the definition. And with just so many assignments, and we all went to public school, private school, and our classes were super small. We had that close personal relationship with with our teachers. And then going to university, your professor doesn't care. They don't know who you are. Right. And you're just in that sea of so many people, and it's really easy to get anxiety. One reason how I would cope, I would say exercise. I would try to go to the gym. I take a nap, literally. That's literally how I would cope. So today we're going to look at two characters, both male and female, in the Bible who dealt with anxiety. So the first person I'm going to look at is Hannah. And her story can be found in 1 Samuel 1 verses 6 to 10. We're just going to read it quickly and then analyze the story and see what Hannah did to deal with her anxiety. So it says, And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her wound. And as he did so every year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept, and she did not eat. Then said Elkanah her husband to Hannah, Why weepest thou, and why thou eatest not, and why is thy heart grieved? For I am no better to thee than 10 sons. So Hannah rose after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by the post of the temple of the Lord. So we'll stop here. So basically, so far we can see that it said that she did not eat and she was crying all the time. So these are like 2 signs that we know that like she had anxiety. Like imagine like especially back then, the only reason why children were so important was that your descendants and your ancestors can like live through them, and like any like money that you had would like go through them. So obviously like she was very worried, because if she has like no sons or daughters, then her name would just be like gone or whatever. So here we can see like what was one thing that Hannah did when she was faced with this anxiety. This is like later on in like 1 Samuel 1 verse 15.
So she was praying. She was pouring out her heart to the Lord, my Bible says.
Yeah, exactly.
And also it says that she was not drinking any beverages, aka wines or anything strong, you know, to cope with it, which could also be coping.
Right. So like she wasn't like avoiding or trying to like
Cover it
distract
up.
or like she was just like facing it kind of head on.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like really important, because I know like sometimes when we face anxiety, we might be tempted, you know, to use like other substances and stuff to deal with it. But like if from reading Hannah's story, we know like the best way is to take our cares and our burdens to the Lord. And also from like reading the rest of the story, we know that God saw her and her anguish and gifted her a child. So we can move on to the second story, which is talking about Elijah. And Elijah's story is found in 1 Kings chapter 19. Basically in this story, Queen Jezebel is chasing after Elijah to kill him. And obviously, if someone's coming after to kill you, of course you're gonna feel like anxiety, you're gonna be scared, stressed,
yeah.
like, yeah. So if someone wants to read verse 4 of the story.
I'll read it. Then he went on alone into the wilderness, traveling all day. He sat down under a solitary broom tree and prayed that he might die. I have had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life, for I am no better than my ancestors who have already died.
So here, this verse just summarized how much anxiety Elijah was feeling. Like God just take me now, like kind of thing. Like I guess he didn't see any more reason for him to live, and he didn't see that his life was worth anything, right? So if we go to like verses 5 to 6, we can see how the Lord answered Elijah's prayer and kind of comforted him.
Then he lay down and slept under the broom tree. But as he was sleeping, an angel touched him and told him, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there beside his head was some bread baked on hot stones and a jar of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again.
By God providing Elijah food, it showed Elijah that God still cared about him and that he still loved him, and that God looked beyond his anxiety. So we read these two stories from the girl's perspective, from the guy's perspective, and we looked at a few signs of anxiety. So what are some more signs that someone might be experiencing anxiety? So far we talked about she didn't eat, she was crying all the time, and then Elijah, he wanted to die. So what are some more signs that someone might be going through a very stressful time?
I guess some more signs, personally, what I was feeling is that, well, as she said, as what Hannah was experiencing, not eating, because, like, bro. As everybody knows here, I love food. And when you know that I'm not eating, like, it's a problem, right? So that was one thing. Another thing was, like, just feeling unmotivated. Like, it's very closely interlinked with depression, but, like, just feeling unmotivated to do anything,
Right.
as well as also like just feeling down. And like you just feel so like nothing is going right, like this needs to be in order, this needs to be in order, because I'm an organized person, and like when all your plans are like done, like even like the alternates upon alternates like aren't working out, like
Right.
that's another thing, like you just feel as though like nothing is working out, as well. You always feel as though everything needs to be perfect and it's not, and then so that's how what personally happened to me that I realized was anxiety later on.
Right. For me, I think it definitely is like no eating or drinking. Definitely like I feel nauseous. Like if I make one move, I'm gonna throw up. Like just cause like, you know, you really feel your anxiety physically.
Yeah.
Definitely like shortness of breath, like comes with the hyperventilating. And yeah, for me, I think that I like kind of clam up. I don't talk because when I'm stressed, like I'm definitely a crier. Like I like to call myself a weenie because I am. You know, like when I'm stressed, I really do like I'm like glass. Like if you touch me, I'll just shatter and break, right?
Absolutely.
And so I will just not talk. I'll remove myself a lot from like conversations, my family, whoever. Just like be alone because like I don't want to like spill everything onto somebody else. You know what I mean? And just feeling like, I don't know if flighty is a good word to describe it, but just like having just like a constant feeling of fear, like something
always
is coming
on edge.
On edge. Yes. Like I know when I'm going through it, like a text on my phone will send my heart rate like racing, you know, because I don't know what it's gonna say. I don't know if it's gonna be good or bad. I'm most likely thinking it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
So that is how I'd experience it, or how I do experience it, I think.
Yeah. So, like, what should we do as Christians when our friends are facing anxiety? Like, what are some ways we can help them?
It's a good question. For me, I know anxiety, I don't know about you guys, but it is a very helpless feeling. Like I feel absolutely like nothing can fix how I'm feeling in the moment, at least like when you're going through the thick of it. I feel very helpless. So it's very hard for me to even think like, you know, if I'm going through it, what I want somebody else to do for me, because like there's nothing you can do, right?
Say anything what you would want someone to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very helpless feeling. It's a very like isolating and lonely feeling. So yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. I think like one way is like don't judge. I feel like if someone experienced anxiety, you're so quick to be like, oh, it's because you don't have a schedule, or you don't do this, you don't do that.
Literally,
Like,
then they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
In like retrospect.
Yeah.
In retrospect, like you don't know what they have done,
Exactly.
and just
Right.
like
Yeah, so
that plans are just done. Like
Right. So I think another one then would be patience. Like be patient with the person because like I said, for me, like I'm just like waiting to fall apart. You know what I mean? And if somebody's like gonna yell at me and say, you didn't do this, Vanya, you didn't do that, what are you doing? Like you should be doing more, you know, you're doing everything wrong. Like
that drives your anxiety up.
Right? Which is like one other thing to stress about. So I think like patience and compassion really does go a long way. I feel especially in mental health related issues. And I know it's hard for a lot of people, but that would be helpful.
Yeah. Also like in Galatians 6 verse 2, it says like cast your cares on the Lord. And not only that, like I feel like we can maybe ask them like, oh, maybe can I do your grocery shopping, or like try to find ways how you can like not necessarily put all their burdens on you, but like that doesn't mean like
lighten their load.
Yeah, you just lighten their load, right?
And like also to add to like just put like a ray of sunshine.
Yeah,
right. That's the thing
Just
too.
drop a little thing.
Because you know, not to discredit what anybody else is going through, because you know, like if you're down, like you know, we all get down. But like if you see somebody is really going through it, like you know, pessimism and negativity is just going to make the situation worse, right? If you have to put on a fake smile and put on some fake happiness and like fake it till you make it, then like that's what you got to do, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So what are some Bible text that we can use to encourage our friends or encourage us ourselves as we are facing anxiety?
Personally, this is my new favorite text, my favorite scripture, and it's from Psalms 94, chapter 94, verse 19, and it just states, "In the multitude of my anxieties within me, your comfort delights my soul." So like when I saw that text come to me, I was like, oh my goodness, this is the perfect text, because like when I put myself in God's arms, like he just comforts me, my anxieties are gone. Well, yeah, they're gone basically, or like there's some way how I can overcome it, you know. He provides me with he'll provide someone in that place to show me something to get out of that my anxiety at that time. So yeah, that's just one of my favorite texts now.
So I have one. It is Matthew 6 verse 31 to 33. And Jesus said, "So do not worry about these things, saying, 'What will we eat? What will we drink? What will we wear?' These things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers, but your heavenly Father already knows all your needs. Seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need." So I have a lot of thoughts about this, so I might go on a little bit of a rant. So starting with number one, the first thing being, this verse resonates with me because that is the type of stuff that I know my anxiety stems from, like just a fear of the unknown, a fear of the future, a fear of not being in control. So like when Jesus says, people say things like, what will we eat, what will we drink, what will we wear? That type of stuff, I stress about the future or what will happen.
Exactly.
And so just knowing that God knows everything, like even if I don't know what somebody does, that is very, very comforting. And it also makes me think, and when he says, these things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers, that stood out to me too, because I know that I really do wonder, as Christians, we have like Jesus, we have a hope, we have some type of thing that even when there's nothing else to cling to, we can still cling to him. And so for the people who are unbelievers, who are not Christian or don't believe, what do they have? I almost feel kind of bad for them in the sense that you need something, everybody needs something, especially during these times that we're living in right now, so much uncertainty, so much negativity, so much confusion and hopelessness. Thank God, we have God who we can turn to when doctors and science and all these things, politicians, everybody fails us. At least we have God,
Exactly.
But for people who don't have him, what do they turn to? How do they get through that? I would feel so hopeless,
I don't know, right?
Yeah, but I think that's why it's important for us to recognize the signs of anxiety in other people, right? So even if we can just be a friend and maybe, if you don't want to be too forward, but you can also share a little Bible text and be like, hey, this is what I'm going through and this is what helps me. And then it's up to them if they want to, take your advice or not. But as long as you, share your testimony and how you deal with it,
right,
you can help them.
Yeah, because I feel when you are going through it and you're in a dark place, you're just looking for one ray of stability or light or something to cling to and hold on, right? Just the littlest thing really will help, just some type of constant, and if we can share, Jesus, who is our constant, to somebody else, I feel if they're open to it, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, for sure.